We're going to talk about the future of mechanical ventilation, but really the future is here now. We know a lot, and I'm going to talk about the past, the present, and the future. But what's interesting is that the present today is not so much farther ahead of the past. So this is the outline of the talk. So what's the past? This was negative pressure ventilation, but still today, there are some efforts in negative pressure ventilation, but these machines were remarkable. They saved so many lives. They saved so many lives that there were wards of patients, babies also, but wards of mostly patients with polio. The machines were very effective. Go forward to the present time. We have remarkable machines. The electronics are fantastic, but they're really not so different to what was available almost 100 years ago. We have not made substantial improvements. We need machines that are more intelligent. We know a lot. There's a lot of information from research studies that can guide us in terms of how to use these machines. But still, the machines don't help you take care of the patients. So how about if we had a machine that would know that total volume times frequency equals minute ventilation, and you would subtract that space from there and know how much alveolar ventilation a patient would need? How about if a machine would know the CO2 of the patient, and then would know that if you allow permissive hypercapnia, then you don't need so much alveolar ventilation? That's possible. That's possible today. We know that. How about if the machine knew about the compliance? So it would adjust the pressure depending on the compliance, achieving your desired total volume. How about if it knew that the compliance varies as shown here throughout the pressure volume curve? That's possible. Machines can do that. How about if you instruct the machines, the ventilators, to learn how to prevent trauma to the lungs? That's also possible. We have a lot of information of how to reduce lung injury. We also know how to optimize inspiratory time, expiratory time. We know now that there are frequencies that the patients can tolerate and do much better. There's a study that shows that in babies with RDS, you can use a rate of 100 to 150 quite safely and effectively. That's all known. It's known even for high-frequency ventilation, how the relationship of total volume and CO2 elimination is, and the rates. It's not all linear. These are complex relationships, so the machines could learn that. And finally, the machines can actually interact with the patient. This is a study by Greg Held, in which he shows the frequencies at which you can synchronize the patients to be more comfortable using mechanical ventilation. So we have all this wealth of information. I think we have so much knowledge, but we have not integrated this into ventilators. So there are ways that we can optimize mechanical ventilation. At present, we each have to every time think of all these possible changes on the ventilator we have to do, but we don't consider so many variables. There are like thousands of combinations of thought processes that you have to put together depending on the ventilator settings, depending on the blood gases of the patient, the clinical condition, whether it's RDS or it's BPD. There's so many variables there that there's like thousands of combinations of thought process that one would have to make a decision about how to manage a patient. and we don't have the capacity to do it every single time perfectly okay. But we could have machines, we could have ventilators with artificial technology, advanced machine learning that could help us, could assist us. For example, you could get the input from the ventilator, and you could make a medical decision based on that suggestion that the ventilator is making. So what's the future? This is a quote from Abraham Lincoln. The best way to predict the future is to create it. So we're here today thinking about these things, and I'm hoping that we can create the future of mechanical ventilation in neonates by thinking of these ways of ventilating the patient better with computer-assisted management. So there's a road to the future, and we can take it. The future, I think, is closed-loop AI and advanced machine learning driven decision support mechanical ventilation. So we are going to empower the physicians to make the right decision by supporting their thought process with advanced machine learning. I think that's the future. I think systems can be servo control much better than what they are right now. Right now, you can servo control some ventilators, the tidal volume, but you cannot servo control CO2, for example. And that's a major driver of mechanical ventilation changes. There's a servo control system for oxygen saturations, but that's not enough. We need to take into consideration so many other factors. And then these servo control systems can be designed in such a way that they optimize gas exchange and reduce ventilatory support as much as possible. And then these decision support systems could be integrated into the whole care of the patient, into all the information in the medical record. These systems can learn from the patients. If you know how the patient has responded before, you know how he may respond next. Plus also, you can have servo control systems that are much faster. You don't have to wait 3 or 4 hours for a blood gas. You can have tighter servo control systems. This may seem far-fetched. We may think this is very complicated, and depending, we can make it very complicated. But this is an algorithm with only about 30 or so, actually less than 30 pathways. But this has been available for over 40 years. And when tested with physicians, it was better than physicians. In fact, it was tested in such a way that the physicians would consult the decision support system and then make a decision themselves what they wanted to do. Guess what? The physicians, when they did what the decision support system said, they were right. But often, when they did something different, the physicians were wrong. The decision support system was better than physicians when they disagree on the care of the patient. So, to leave you with some ideas, but also some questions, I'll summarize this by saying that ventilatory strategies that optimize outcomes are known. We know right now how to use the ventilators, but this knowledge has to be incorporated into an innovative and disruptive AI and AML decision support mechanical ventilation. Thank you very much.